tout le monde! Today we're talking about l'article partitif, or the partitive article in French. So first, let's review the articles that we've learned. We have definite articles, which all mean the, which are le, la, and les, and indefinite articles, which mean a or an, un, une, and des. And with all of these articles, we must remember that your article comes before your noun. Every noun in French needs an article or a possessive adjective. So make sure that you have an article before every noun. And your article has to agree with the gender and the number of the noun. So le, la, and les, we have masculine, feminine, plural. Un, une, des, masculine, feminine, plural. Our partitive article is another type of article, but we'll talk first about our definite and indefinite and kind of review that topic. So le chien, un chien. The difference being that le chien is talking about the dog, a specific dog. So if I ask my husband to go and feed the dog, le chien, nourrir le chien, then he needs to go and feed our dog, the dog right here that I'm talking about, who is adorable. And then we have un chien. If I say nourrir un chien, I'm telling him to feed any dog. So if he goes to the neighbor's house and feeds this little fluff monster, then he was right. He fed a dog. I wasn't specific about the dog that I needed him to feed. Now, our definite articles can also be used to talk about liking things in general. So if you like dogs, you can just say j'aime les chiens, and it's all dogs. It encompasses all of the dogs. But if you say j'aime un chien, I like a dog. There's a dog that I like. And j'aime des chiens, I like some dogs. It's not all the dogs. It's just a couple of them. Okay. So let's talk about definite versus indefinite versus partitive. Okay, so le fromage. Le fromage is all cheeses. Okay, now if you say le fromage râpé, we're talking about grated cheese. And if you say, le fromage est là, that cheese there, the cheese there, then you're being very specific about which cheese. But if we just say j'aime le fromage, we're just saying I like cheese. So perhaps je mange le fromage, I eat cheese. Now, if you want to talk about a cheese, un fromage, it is an entire cheese. It's this whole wheel of cheese. So if you say je mange un fromage, we're saying I am eating an entire cheese. Or you could be talking about I eat this one specific type of cheese. Okay? But it's that whole thing, all of it right there. And then du fromage is part of the whole. It's du fromage, some cheese. Okay, so it's part of the whole. And this is an example of our partitive article, du. Another example with a chip. So we have le chip. Okay, it's this chip, the chip that fell on the ground, le chip. Un chip is one chip. And then du chip is taking this one chip, breaking it into parts, and then you're eating one part of the chip. So if you're saying I want a chip, or I would like to eat a chip, je prends un chip. But if you say je prends du chip, we're saying I want part of a chip, just this little part of it. These are our partitive articles. So we have our masculine singular is du, and du is actually a combination of de, le. So as we saw in this is de le chip. It is some or of the chip, de le chip. That combines to make du. If your noun is feminine, we would say de la. If your noun starts with a vowel, you do de and then L apostrophe. And then after the negative, you would put de. Okay? Je ne veux pas de fromage. I don't want some cheese, but you would say de because that's what you put before the negative, after the negative. Now, what about des? Why is there not a plural partitive article? And the reason being is that des means some, and when we're talking about some, we're talking about multiple wholes. It's, yes, still a part of the whole in terms of if we're talking about des chiens, j'aime des chiens, I like some dogs. Yeah, we're talking about the whole of all dogs, and you only like some of them, but those dogs are whole dogs. We're not talking about part dogs. And that's why des is not considered a partitive article, but it also does mean some. And that is the partitive article. Make sure that you've got this information in your notes and you are ready to use the three different types of articles. Au revoir, à bientôt.